We've learned how to multiply a monomial by a polynomial. And now we're going to move up to something a little more complicated, which is a binomial times a binomial. And it's still just the distributive property, except now we are distributing two different terms. So this is two sets of parentheses, but I still want you to think of it like this. We've got a set of parentheses, y minus 4, and in front of these parentheses, we have two terms. We have a y and we have an 8. I know those terms are in parentheses, but I want you to think of it like our parentheses are y minus 4, and we have two things in front of those parentheses, and both of those things are going to get distributed. So here's what this looks like. We do y multiplied by y, and then we do y multiplied by 4, or y multiplied by negative 4, depending on how you think about it. So it's minus y times 4. So that's our first distributive property. We took that first term, which was y, and we distributed it to both things in the second set of parentheses. Then we do the same thing with the 8. 8 multiplied by the y, so that's a positive 8 times y. And then 8 multiplied by 4 with a minus sign, or 8 times negative 4, doesn't matter. So it's negative 8 times 4. And that's the distributive property. First, we distribute the y to both terms, then we distribute the 8 to both terms. And now we go ahead and simplify. Y times y is y squared. Negative y times 4 is minus 4y. 8 times y is 8y. And negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. Now, the last thing we do is we look to see if there are any terms that we can combine, and there are. We've got two terms that both have a y in them. We've got a negative 4y and a plus 8y, and negative 4 plus 8 is a positive 4, so positive 4y. So we have a y squared plus 4y minus 32, and that is our final answer. So even though it's two terms multiplied by two terms, it is still at its heart a distributive property problem. Let's do one more. So our set of parentheses here, we're going to treat like it's x plus 6. And in front of the parentheses, we have a 2x and we have a positive 1. So we do 2x times x, which is 2x squared. And then we do 2x times 6, which is a positive 12x. So now our first term has been distributed. Now we do our second term. Positive 1 times positive x is a positive 1x. And then positive 1 times 6 is a positive 6. Our distributive property is done. Now we check to see, are there any like terms that can be combined? And there are. 12x plus 1x is 13x. And so our final answer here is 2x squared plus 13x plus 6. And that is how you do a binomial multiplied by a binomial. And this same pattern, the same idea of doing the distributive property, works when you multiply two polynomials of any size. As long as you think of it as being the distributive property, it will work multiplying any two polynomials, not just a binomial times a binomial, but polynomials of any size. As long as you think of it as the distributive property, this is how you do all of them.